Guys, how you doing? I'm Nix. I finally watched Spider-Man No Way Home so I can show you the spreads I made for all the Spider-Man movies. I started doing them last December in preparation for watching the latest one for January because its premiere in my country was delayed for some reason. I guess I watched the old Spider-Man films by Sony back when I was a kid, but I never really got to appreciate and understand its whole story in the bigger picture since it really confuses me when there are a lot of sequels we're talking about and different actors playing the same character of Peter. Of course, I was young so I didn't want to pay attention to everything. I just became invested in Marvel when the pandemic came, and from the news, No Way Home is about to include the Spider-Man films made by Sony, so I figured I have to watch everything again, so I just did last December. Now let's talk about the first Spider-Man played by Tobey. He's great. He's the only one who can make spider webs come out of his body, so that makes him special. I love his band with Harry Osborn. Although their love triangle and friendship with Mary Jane are complicated to look at. Anyway, that's the only red flag of Mary Jane for me, really getting in the way of two of her best friends. Despite that, I'd like to defend her to some of the memes I saw on the internet, as she was compared to Gwen and MJ because of her intelligence. For me, she's the most relatable character because of her dreams of being an actress. She has an abusive and alcoholic father, so getting support from Peter meant a lot to her. I mean, we can blame her if she demands Peter the attention that she only received from him first. Anyway, she learned her lesson and decided to support Peter's duty as Spider-Man in return as well. Peter Parker's storyline in here was really good too. I like Harry Osborn and I wish he could have survived. He's sweet and actually my favorite. For the last film in the trilogy played by Tobey, it's a side of him that was really iconic. Topher Grace as Venom was shocking to me because I still see him as Eric from that 70s show. But anyway, he did a nice job as a villain too. His competition with Peter Parker really spices things up as he became Venom. Second Peter Parker was portrayed by Andrew Garfield, the Amazing Spider-Man. It's really touching and I got teary-eyed on the first film when all the crane men help him to swing across the buildings because he's injured and having a difficult time saving Gwen and the whole city. I'm super spoiled about what happened to Gwen Stacy since these films happened a long time ago. But on the second one, I still cried when I heard her speech that is literally everything Peter needed to hear the most during that time. I also watched Into the SpiderVerse, an animated Spider-Man film, and it surprised me that Kingpin appeared here already other than Daredevil and Hawkeye. I love how star-studded the casting is and how I knew most of the voice actors too. Next films that I also watched is Venom. I honestly didn't put a lot of effort about this page as I apparently just use its movie posters, but I can guarantee that these films entertain me a lot. I definitely want to see more of Eddie, Venom, and Ant to the MCU as well. Lastly, here's the page that I did for No Way Home. It's everything I imagine it to be. It's fun to see every Peter Parker on one screen, and it's really exciting how the multiverse is officially happening in the MCU. I also love the part when Ned's grandmother spoke my mother tongue as a Filipino. Andrew saying one Tagalog word made me really happy. One thing for sure is that Spider-Man has a lot of enemies, and to see them all in this movie was a great experience too. Of course, I cried in this film too because it's not just Tom Holland as Peter Parker's sad life being reflected, but all of them. It's just comforting to see how they all carried on despite everything bad happening to them. I really like Tom Holland's version of Peter representing the younger generation in the Avengers, and I love how he uses movie references too, making him a lot more relatable. Since he's the Spider-Man that I got well introduced to being in the MCU, he's obviously my favorite. No Way Home is also the particular film that I choose as the best one because it managed to include every Peter Parker in the multiverse and reflect the weight of being a friendly neighborhood. I made pages for Homecoming and Far From Home on my previous movie journal, and I'm just gonna show you those as well later on. What's your favorite Spider-Man film and who's your favorite Peter Parker? Comment yours. Anyway, here's the flip through of every Spider-Man film. See you soon. Bye.